Hey guys, David Pence here with Whatsminer MicroBT.com, wholly owned by Trace Blockchain. Trace Blockchain has really expanded into a lot of things, and we are doing a lot of immersion mining. And what's happening is a lot of people are coming to us, and we've had even during Corona, we've had a jet fly in probably once a month. Some of them private jets, some commercial jets, where people are coming to see us about our immersion capabilities. And we've got some immersion mining that I want to show you. Let's take a look. Let's walk outside real quick. Is it okay if I walk along here?
You go right ahead.
So here are some water towers that we have running that are great for cooling in really humid environments. And these guys are down for a maintenance cycle right now, but these guys are each 350 refrigerant ton devices. They're very inexpensive, way cheaper than dry coolers. And they will actually handle pretty much any environment that's hot. So if you have a hot environment, that's one thing. If you have a hot and humid environment, which South Carolina does, then these are a great answer for cooling miners, as an example. So we use those today, and they cool a demo line that we have running. Again, should you use water towers? Maybe you use dry coolers, but you know, a dry cooler for a megawatt is maybe $60,000 or $70,000 for one dry cooler cooling for 1 megawatt. This is about a third of the price of that. So you have to think about that, and yes, you need some heat exchangers and things like that as well, but you need water, by the way too. But anyway, for us, this is the way to go in a very humid environment. So let's come back in here. We do have to treat the water. So we actually inject chemicals into the water that actually helps the water can be called hard water or soft water. We want it to be more neutral water. And so by making it more neutral water, the heat exchangers like it better because they got these veins where water is going through, and they want it to be as clean as possible. So we actually clean the water and neutralize it a little bit with some of these chemicals that are auto-injected into our system. Okay? Yeah. Okay, so basically what I wanted to show you is that we run an immersion line. Let's go look at it.
Okay. I'm just gonna stay on your kind of left side, but,
yep,
or your right side, sorry.
And we're on a maintenance cycle right now. So we do a bunch of testing. We do a bunch of, we're constantly testing miners. We're testing different fluids. We're testing different vats. We test all kinds of different stuff. What I'm gonna do here is I might step up a little bit, and maybe you can put the camera up here and look in, just as a refresher for you guys. So we've got miners running here in dielectric fluid, and we're on a maintenance cycle right now, but the dielectric fluid keeps these miners cool, and you know, these miners can run forever, where a lot of these dead miners that we're getting from people may run for 2 years or 3 years, and they run in the outside air from air mining. These miners run pretty much indefinitely.
These are in fluid, right?
They're in dielectric fluid, non-conductive fluid. Other things that we have done is that we have written software on Raspberry Pis. Some people use PLCs. Some people use PLCs, which means a programmable logic controller. Very common. I used to use those in the industrial world too, but they cost, you know, $1,000 or $5,000 or whatever it is, and they have cards and boards and inputs and outputs and stuff like that. Well, we actually use Raspberry Pis. Raspberry Pi costs $35. You can buy a hat that sits on top of a Raspberry Pi, and the hat has all kinds of inputs and outputs, digital, analog, can control an entire plant. So we actually will take like a $50 hat and put it on top of a $35, say plus a power supply and a SD card. We may have $100 into our device. And our device, as an example, this is a Raspberry Pi right here with a hat sitting on top of it, and it's got relays sitting on top of the hat. And those relays control some of the other parts and pieces that we have on our line. So here's the screen output of the Raspberry Pi. You can see it's got 4 cores. This is a Raspberry Pi 3 or 4, I can't remember. But the bottom line is that there's code running to decide when to turn our line on based on the power scheme of the power company, based on the price of Bitcoin, based on the terahash and the hash rate, stuff like that. Our line is a smart line, and it'll decide when to come on and go off and make us the most money. So that's some pretty neat tech that we help our customers with, and we can do that with our immersion lines. We're letting you guys know that Trace Blockchain, who's the owner of Whatsminer MicroBT.com, again, who is that's just an agency in the USA. You know, we're not the manufacturer, we're just a sales and service agency, but we have learned a lot of stuff, and as MicroBT's products take over the world, we actually can do this. By the way, we can do this with any miner. We can do this with Whatsminers. We can do this with Bitmain miners. We can do this with Canaan miners. We can do it with all kind of brands of miners. Doesn't really matter. We have the ability to modify the firmware. We can go in and change the firmware to overclock ourselves. You don't have to pay somebody else an overclock fee. You can work with us, and we can get you discounted fees or potentially no fees if you want to do some other kind of business with us. We can do managed services with you so that we can help manage your air miners. We can help build and manage your liquid miners. We have some patent pending technology coming out for dual phase mining. It's got to take a while, but we can do that as well. So if you're into mining, if you're not into mining, guess what? If you're into finance, if you say, I've got 5 million, 10 million, 20 million, $100 million I want to deploy, and I would really like some expertise to help me out. I don't know if I need to air cool, if I need to single phase liquid cool, if I need to dual phase cool. I don't know any of that stuff. Am I supposed to overclock? How much overclocking can I get? Well, that's what we do. So I would encourage you guys to consider contacting us, because we can help you with your fleet of miners. Generally, we don't work with anybody less than, say, 1 megawatt of miners, which is maybe 300 miners in the Whatsminer world. That's about 300 miners stock. That's about 250 miners overclocked. So if you have 250 miners or more, and you wish that you had the ability to overclock them or immerse them so they'll last 5 or 7 years instead of 2 or 3 or 4 years, you know, contact us and let's see how we can help each other. Thank you.